Right now, tonight, the final team of 12 that will represent South Africa at the Netball World Cup will be announced at 7 p.m. With just 70 days left before the start of the global showpiece, all eyes will be on the final squad announcement. To help us look into the elements that will make up the squad, we've roped in a netball analyst, Keneiloe Ngasi, who is joining us via Zoom from Dubai. Hey, good morning to you, Keneiloe, and thank you so much for joining us on Sports on Morning Live.
Good morning, Nasira. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Keneiloe, I want us to start our conversation just looking at how far this Proteas team has come since 2019 out in Liverpool, where we weren't really at our best. What would you say, and where would you say we are now as a team?
Well, I think we've come in definite leaps and bounds since then in terms of the amount of preparation we've put into our players. As you know, we've got about 25 contracted players now who are paid and solely focused on netball and the Netball World Cup. And that just allows our players to be able to focus on their training, focus on lifting their game in terms of where they are and where they need to be able to perform at an international stage. I do believe as well that obviously all the sponsorships that have gone into the game and gone into Netball South Africa have really aided in being able to lift the game of netball and actually allow the netballers to do what they need to do in order to be able to be at that level to compete against the top three.
And talking about being able to compete at the top three, do you believe that we are at a level now that we can actually medal at this upcoming World Cup or even go all the way to the final?
You know, I think there's two ways I could answer that. As a South African, it's a easy yes.
Yeah.
I think the home ground advantage will give us an edge. I think it's been a long time coming for any African team, or just to have something like this on African soil. It's been a long time coming. It's the first time that it's ever happened. So I think that will add an element of pride in terms of just being South African and being African and being able to represent your country at such a large event. So I think, you know, as a South African, it's a definite easy yes. But as an analyst, being able to look at the other teams that have been announced, if you look at your English team, if you look at the Australian squad that has been announced, and if you look at our development and progress and performance, take something as easy as or as close as the quad series, we are competing, but we're just not finishing. And I think that's where we need to then sort of apply ourselves a little bit more. We do find that we're able to compete for the first three quarters, or maybe even just the first and the third quarter. But that finish at the end, in terms of being able to cross over that finish line as the victors or having won that game, is something that we are still chasing as a squad. If you also look at the 2019 World Cup, that was, I mean, if you look at the Australian versus South Africa semi-final,
yes,
you know, losing that by 2, but that was a nail-biting, had us on the edge of our seats semi-final, where we as South Africans, I think for the first time, looked at our squad and thought, we can do it. We can definitely get out there and compete against the top three, against the international standard, and be proud of the players that are out there. I do feel like we did take a step back in terms of Commonwealth. If you look at that performance compared to the World Cup, it is sort of night and day. But I think we have gone back to the drawing board. I mean, Cecilia Mulugwane has gone back to the drawing board and really just focused on what needs to be done in order to have our girls at their prime, at their peak, and give them the best opportunities to go out there and represent us the best way they can and medal, because that is the goal. So bringing back Norma Plummer, I think we will see in 70 days if that was a good call or not. In my opinion, I think it was a good call. She's won multiple gold medals at world stage as a player and as a coach, so she knows how to win. And she also is coming from an international powerhouse that is Australia. And so she knows what the players need to do in order to play at that level, what goes into their performance, what goes into them on and off the court, mentally, physically, in order for them to play at that level. So
it's a yes.
And I'm going to say yes. I think we can do it. I think it's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be an easy feat, but I do believe that we've put in enough for our girls to have the best opportunity to medal.
Just quickly, Keneiloe, as I wrap up with you, I've literally got 10 seconds left. Just in terms of the squad announcements tonight, what are your expectations on that final 12?
You know, I don't think we're going to have many surprises. I think Norma will be looking at different structures that have worked and is looking obviously at international experience. I think if we have a surprise, it might be one or two. Remember, we are plagued with some injuries. Lefebvre Rademan coming in back from an injury. She is looking at, peak sort of performance, having performed at the TNL a couple of weeks ago. Almaray Vandenberg is also still niggling an injury, I think, and Nicola Smith has also come back from an injury. So I think it is difficult for Norma Plummer at this stage because she does have injuries to contest with. But I don't think we'll have many changes. If any, I think maybe one surprise, which I'm hoping.
All right, let's see if that comes true for you later on today at 7 p.m. Keneiloe, thank you so much for your time today and enjoy the rest of your time out in Dubai.
Thank you very much. Enjoy it.
That is Keneiloe Ngasi. She is, of course, a netball analyst talking all things about the SPAR Proteas. That announcement will be coming through at 7 p.m. tonight of the final team of 12.